Hi there, my name is Damilola Olanrewaju. I am the CEO at Opalite Nigeria, one of the fastest growing real estate development company in Lagos, Nigeria. And this is another episode of the Real Estate Chat Room. And I'm sharing something with you today that I think everyone needs to listen. So please make sure that you share this video with your friends, and also with your enemy. And today I want to be sharing with you what I've observed about the Lagos property market. But the main juice there is what you should do about this information, okay? So let's get into it. Lagos property market has been going bonkers in the last 24 to 36 months, okay? And I don't know what is happening, but one of the triggers for this growth and the growth and the phenomenon we observe is got triggered by the COVID first initially, but the major event that had preeminence and is affecting the whole crazy growth, in addition to other macroeconomic reasons, is the EndSARS. You were asking me, what does EndSARS have to do with the crazy growth we have seen in Lagos rental and property purchase market? Okay, just follow me. After the EndSARS, people began to have more affinity for gated communities, okay? Because what happened during the EndSARS was that a lot of all these hoodlums entered into several streets and locations and started robbing people, collecting people's valuables, and in certain instances, injuring some people and all of that. And it's because they had easy access because things were porous, okay, as against gated communities. So what began to happen is that people now began to value security even more than proximity. Do you get what I mean? So you don't just want to stay in the Ikeja because it's close to work. Now you want to stay in the gated community that in the event of any bad happening, you are able to protect yourself, pretty much. So another phenomenon that have triggered, this whole rise in Lagos property market in terms of rental or purchase is the economy. As you know, the Nigerian economy, we're not a producing economy, we're a trade economy, we're a consumer economy, so we need dollars, and there has been strain in dollar, which also meant that naira to dollar, the Nigerian naira is devalued and all that story. You all know that, and how that things have gone on the rise. So by default, people needed to put their money in things that are stable, and real estate is the seems to be most stable form of asset that anybody can put their money on, okay? So people began to really buy into properties just to hedge themselves against inflation, okay? Another thing people were doing was investing in dollars and all of that. But the one that is more stable, easy to access, will be buying of properties and all of that. Of course, some of these property, they don't even mirror the actual growth that is happening. Lagos market is a very unique market, okay? So there's been a crazy growth in terms of purchase. Most houses that are bought, 2 years ago have been sold now for ×2 of what it was bought, in several areas, And so those two phenomena, the EndSARS and the economic situation we find ourselves, people trying to hedge themselves against inflation, by default as positively. Well, if you look at it for the owners, for the landowners or house owners, has affected them positively in that they are able to move all of their expense, into, if I have expense, what's the next thing to do? I'll look at where money is coming from me and I'll look at how I can increase. So landlords have started increasing rent to make sure that they're able to meet up with the whole inflation saga problem that we find ourselves, so to speak. Okay, so that's what has affected the Lagos property market. And that's why you see, especially in non-gated community and gated communities, and even in adjoining city, the cost of renters have gone by 100% in the last 2 to 3 years. And we have not even seen anything. The same thing with purchase of land, the same thing with purchase of housing unit. In places that you think that it's even stable, the growth rate ought not to be more than 15%. We're seeing 90% growth. For example, in places like Magodo Phase 2, we're seeing like a 63% in Ikoyi, averagely in VI about 36 to 35%, And across board, you see mostly 100% increase. In adjoining city like Ekpe, Arekpo, Badagry, Korodu, and the rest, you're seeing 100% just from 2021 to 2022 if you review. Okay, so that has been the situation with land, with house, rent. So what does this have to do with you? What I would advise everybody listening to this call is for you to begin to make your moves. Begin to make your moves. Begin to buy land wherever you can lay your hands on, okay? Because it's going to make a whole lot of difference in the next 5 to 10 years. You know what will begin to happen in Lagos particularly, and it's already happening gradually, because of the high influx of people coming into Lagos. It's been said that about 600 people come to Lagos daily, and half of them don't return back to where they came from. In other words, they join the economy, because Lagos is a land of opportunity. As a matter of fact, a lot of us were here also because we knew that there were opportunity. We migrated from where we are to where we are now, and it's been phenomenal. So everybody wants that. Your siblings, your cousin, everybody wants that, okay? Everybody wants the share of the pie. The whole idea is that affordability will be a key factor in the next 5 to 10 years in Lagos. People will not be able to live in city centers like Ikeja, Lekki Phase 1, Ikoyi, VI, Ogba, if you don't have cash, if your revenue has not increased. And unfortunately, because of the economic situation, income is not increasing at the rate at which expenses are increasing. Cost of house. Everybody will go back and start increasing whatever. Food is on the rise, food price on the rise, rent on the rise, school, paying for education on the rise, health on the rise, everything on the rise. And everybody talks about the fact that inflation is affecting everybody. So how do you want to survive? Okay, and this has happened in UK, particularly in central London generally. If you don't have money, you can't stay in central London, okay? New York. So as that development begins to happen, places like New York, central New York, if you don't have cash, you can stay there. The same thing will happen in Lagos and in Abuja and in Port Harcourt. It will take the rich of the rich to be able to stay in city centers. So what do you need to do? Buy land in an adjoining city. As a matter of fact, if you eventually want to live in city centers, it might make sense to buy places like Ekpe, Badagry, and the rest. At some point, you land bank on them, and in 5-10 years, you flip them, and you're able to buy maybe a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment in city center. Trust me, this phenomenon is not going away anytime soon. So what I'm telling you is the mitigant, and you need to take my conversation seriously. That's why you also need to share this video with family and friends, especially for those that are living in Lagos particularly. Because at some point, a lot of people will have to move out of Lagos, but they can hedge themselves. Imagine you buy a plot of land now in Magboro, which, by the way, has gone over 300% probably the last 3 to 5 years. Areco, places like that are becoming almost very expensive to afford for a regular person. So why don't you make that move today while you can still even do something? The good thing is that there are a lot of real estate development companies that are doing instrumental payment that you can quickly plug in and pay up and just hold the land. You can eventually even build there, rent it out, still stay in city center. Take part of the money that you're getting from there, have a little cash, and use it to pay your rent in city center. I know proximity to work is important. So a lot of people think that one day will come miraculously, they're just going to own that house in Ikoyi and all that, Guy, wake up. Why don't you start with the little that you can afford now, and from there, the seed to everything great is always in small things that you do now, okay? So guys, let us take this conversation I'm having with you seriously. Things are going to get crazier. An average increase across Lagos will be minimum of 50% year on year till about turn of the decade, which is like 2030. I don't know when the growth is going to slow down, and also factor in that every time you need to renew rent every 3 years, you would have to pay like 50% increase. You'll be frustrated if you are not careful. Of course, at the other end, you need to improve on your income stream. You need to increase your capacity to earn and understand that. But the main thing that you can control now is, why don't you take some of this little cash that you're wasting on one thing or the other, or you're just storing in the bank, is losing value. Why don't you put it into the landed asset? Land bank on it, 2, 3 years, 5 years, wait. The least you can sell any land you're buying now. If you buy in Lagos and in adjoining city, in 5 years. The least you can ever sell is ×2. In other words, for any land you're buying now, 2 million, the least that will be valued in worst case scenario, I'm telling you the fact, and you can take my word for it, literally, will be ×2 of what you bought now. Okay, so what's the big deal? The big deal there is that you need to start investing now, and that's why I'm introducing you to our October, independent promo offer. We're saying, guys, owning a house shouldn't be an hassle. Owning a land shouldn't be an hassle. Okay, so why don't you just plug in, drop a minimum deposit of 500K, and you have the opportunity to spread as much as 12 months. So we made it flexible. The good thing is there's also the icing on the cake. We're taking 20% off our normal price just for the independent promo, just to celebrate Nigeria, and in the process as Nigeria is celebrating its own independence, you are also somewhat on your journey to financial independence. So make a call now to the numbers scrolling on your screen. Go to our website, www.opaliteproperties.com, okay? Or DM, chat us up, do whatever. Get to plug into this October promo. The good thing also is that our price package is all inclusive. So it's a one-off payment. You are not paying separately for development or survey or whatever. It's hybrid. So try and quickly go there. Of course, immediately after this promo, we're announcing a price increase across all of our three locations that we're selling currently. So guys, the another episode of the Real Estate Chat Room. I hope you'll be richer, you'll be well there. But don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and watch my previous video on YouTube. Share with friends and family. I've been receiving a lot of positive feedbacks. I want more, and that's the energy that is making me do more and more. My passion in life and collectively in Opalite Nigeria is that we want you to be rich through land banking. That's our primary objective, and I hope that you join us on this journey. 5K people by 2030. Take care, guys. Have a nice week. Bye.